The other thing that I spoke about is the need to, by the leading of the Holy Spirit, begin to plan for any eventuality. So kind of like the coronavirus, it caught us by surprise, and we had to sort of scramble to figure out how to cope, which is good, it's no problem. But I think in the future, we need to anticipate certain scenarios. And when I say plan, I'm not just saying plan to survive, but plan to revive and really function even more so as the church. Be the church. Be the light in the darkness. And so I think it's important in the future, as we go on with these meetings, to sit down and discuss, what are some of the possible scenarios that could develop in the times that we're living in. We certainly are living in end times. So let's say, for example, there's multiple viruses, or maybe there's restrictions, there's severe restrictions in certain areas. Maybe we're confined to our homes. What do we do? Maybe they monitoring, maybe there's censorship of what we can communicate. How would we communicate? Are there different ways we could do that? How can we be effective as a church? And I think we should be looking at that and putting together, and I can help, and I'm sure there's other people that can help, where we can have some plans sort of stored for times like that. And because I think the main purpose is not just to protect our people, and to get them fed and get them, ministered to, but our people to be able to minister to others. I think that's the critical thing. And then there were some issues that I've picked up over the last 40 years, and it's not that I'm an expert at this, it's just my perception, what I feel. There were three questions that people have asked us. Most prolific questions, above all other questions, are these three. And this has indicated to me that we have some deficiency within the church, and we need to address that in our own churches. And we can all talk about how we can change this perception. The first question is, what is God saying to me? It seems to me, even though Christians have a wonderful relationship with the Lord, they talk with Him, they worship God, they go to church, they get involved with the ministry. They struggle, however, to hear what God is saying to them personally. And as a pastor, that's been quite prevalent, where people would come to me and say, "Pastor, I'm not sure whether I should take this job. I don't know what's God saying. Can you pray with me? Do you have a word for me?" And when we travel, it's the same thing. People come to the front and they really want God to speak to them. And it's not that God isn't necessarily speaking to them, they're just not hearing what He's saying. And so this is a serious problem, because we need to be constantly not only communicating with God, but as individuals hearing very clearly what God's saying to us.